Welcome back, everybody. This is the me, myself, and I playthrough of the main event scenario of Unconditional Surrender, designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. We are going into the second half of March 1942, basically the Soviet operations phase, and then the end of turn things. That's just to show you the turn track real quick. We're going to go straight over to the Russians. It is severe in the cold zone and severe in the Mediterranean. There isn't a lot. Let's reset these pieces so we can see what we're looking at. There isn't a lot the Russians can really do. They can't add any tanks in, so they can't get the extra +1 like you can in poor weather. So we're going to go ahead and make a vain attempt at like 3 attacks and then maybe 1 move. My production is 22. I want to save 12 to flip up my airplanes to try and keep the Germans from getting too many airplanes on me. So we're going to activate the 11th first to go and just sort of fill in the line. It sets me up for a 3-hex attack next turn. And then I'm going to do 3 weak attempts here to try and push some people back. So we're going to activate this army, the shock army, and this shock army, the 3rd and the 4th shocks. That's 3 more, plus the 1 I moved, so that's 1, 2, 4, down to 18. We're just going to go ahead and resolve this right away. The Russians start off at +1 because they have an elite, and then they get +1 for each of the 2 guys that are adding across the river. River doesn't affect me. The Germans start off because they're +2 because they're Germans, and that's all there is. We can't add any markers or anything because of the weather, so it's just die rolls and see what happens. The Russians, both sides will be halved, so the Russians are +3. 3 plus roll to 4 plus 3 is a 7. 3.5 rounds up to a 4. The Germans are +2. Roll 5 plus 2 is a 7. Is a 3.5 rounds up to a 4. So that attack went nowhere. Then we will activate the 2nd shock army, the 12th, and the 30th. They will attack the Romanian. Again, it's at +3, but this time the Romanians don't get any pluses. So I have a good chance of at least pushing them back. And we'll roll again. Oh, I should take that off my national tracks. That's 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Do things the right way. So 3 more. So it's 3 to a 0. The Russians roll 5 plus 3 is an 8. Round down is a 4. And the Romanians roll a 2, which is halved to a 1. 4 to a 1 is a DR, so the Romanians retreat, and the 12th will move in and take the space again. And then the most important one, which is here in Kharkov, we're going to try and see if we can't recapture the city. So we're going to activate the 8th, 37th, and the 1st shock. This one's not going to be as good as it normally would be. The Germans are +2 because they're German. We start with the shock army as the primary, so he's +1, and then +1 for each of his buddies. So they're at +3, but this time I'm attacking a city, so I'm down 1. So it's a +2 to a +2, so I'm hoping for me rolling something like a 5 or a 6, and the Germans rolling like a 1 or a 2. Something like that in order to make this work. The Russians roll a 1 plus 2 is a 3, halved to a 1.5. The Germans roll a 3 plus 2 is a 5, round, makes it 2.5, round up to a 3. A 1 to a 3 is an attack or stop. It's an assault anyway, so it's not going to go anywhere. So that was 3 more willpower there. 1, 2, 3. And that will end their activations. They want to save their 12 to bring up their airplanes in the replacement phase. So they push the Romanians back, and the 2 Kharkov held, and the 4th Panzer held, so that will basically end the operations phase for the Soviets. Everything is in supply because they don't have anybody surrounded. That ends the Soviet operations phase. It's going to be a quicker turn than I thought. There is nobody with a no supply marker. We get to replacements phase. The Axis has, what do they got? They got 15 left, so they're going to spend them all here in the replacements phase, I think. I don't think I have anything to build. No, I don't have anything in the mobilization box. I don't think anybody, only the Russians do, right? Yeah, only the Russians do. So they're going to use up all 15 of their production points to do in the replacements phase. So this one comes down to, that's 6. This is 9. This is 12. And then we bounce over here to, I think I'm going to leave, oh, yes, I forgot to do this. This guy here would have a low supply. I wasn't going to bother to do the Oslo supplying of him for this turn because he does his job either way. And then the last 3, I'm going to take down the airplane that's in Germany because the Bomber Command is coming next turn. And if at all possible, I'd like to have a full airplane to oppose it. Yeah, that's Germans. Italians, they have, I think, 10, 11. So they could do 2 6s and a 4. This 6 is for sure. Get that. Oh, there I go again, around the corner. Give me back my convoy. This just needs to go away. Boy. I'm going to take this convoy down too. And I'm going to actually take my airplane down too, because clear weather is coming and I'm going to need that airplane. So that's 9, which would leave them with 2, but they don't have anything to spend it on. And that's the Axis replacements phase. We go to the west. Again, we don't have anything in the faction card yet to mobilize. So the Americans take their 2 here. It doesn't cost them anything. What do I have? 14? 14. So I could go, I think I'll go 3 here. Yeah, I'm going to go 3 here. So that's 6. Puts me down to 8. And I'm going to make the airplane be all better, even though it's kind of wasteful. I don't have an airplane to, I can wait. I think I'm going to go ahead and clear this convoy. To get me down to 5, and then I'm going to go over to Gibraltar here, and we'll spend 5 on the carrier unit. Oh, by the way, I did check. I really was at 5 when I moved here. I guess I was at 4 in Malta when I moved here, and I ended up at 5. So that's why I'm at 3 and not 4. I thought I should have been at 4 last turn, but I went back and checked, and I actually had it correct. So now they're down to 1 sortie. And that's 5. So I've got most of my convoys cleared and my fleets are at reasonable levels. So maybe I can start thinking about messing with Italian supply here. Once I get clear weather, I can hurt their supply a lot more than in things like severe and whatnot. It's just very hard to get through the weather there. And then we will go do the Soviets are straightforward. They have 12 left. And they have 4 airplanes, so yes. We're going to repair our airplanes just to make the Germans spend their airplanes to take care of us. Excuse me. And that's the Soviet replacement space. There's no upgrades on anybody's card. Nope, there's no upgrades. There's no mobilization because the Russians are the only ones that could do it, and they don't have any production points left. So we're done with that. Nobody's talking in the diplomacy phase. They have not conquered Germany yet. So we go to the turn track for the end of turn. The British get back their Ultra. That makes them happy. They also get a Partisans, which makes them happy. And they get Bomber Command in the mobilization box. That'll cost 4 to bring on, so that's kind of expensive. But the threat will be there. It will tie up a German aircraft for a while. And that is the March turn. That was a lot faster than I thought. I might tack this on to the end of the other video. So we're going to go down here. That was the March 1942 turn. This is Dren 608. If you like my videos, please subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes. Please leave comments, positive or negative. I need to know what I'm doing wrong, as well as what you guys are like, what I'm doing. And we will see you next time at the beginning of April 1942 with the weather phase. This is Dren 608. Bye-bye.